Day 2 of the German Open is in the books, and once again it was a day full of excitement and the first big upsets of the tournament. Besides all the action on the courts, we also had an exclusive look into the Yonex stringing team who's here at the German Open, and afterwards I was also able to talk with Ellis and Smith about their victory today, but also about being a couple on and off court. Because the first round in all categories is split up onto 2 days, half of the stars started their campaign for the German Open today. One of them who had some troubles in the beginning was Malaysia star Lee Zijia, who dropped the first game to a well-playing Mark Kalju.
And of course I think Mark Kalju is a very experienced player also. I played with him a few times, and he's a good player, yeah. And I already prepared that today will be a tough game against him, yeah.
But Lee worked his way back into the match, and with his impressive attacking skills, he left no chance for Kalju and took the match in 3 games.
Yeah, I just try to reduce my unforced error first and try to speed up my game as well and play more attacking shot as well. Yeah.
Former world champion and world number 1 Kento Momota lost the Japanese men's singles battle to Kenta Nishimoto in straight sets. In the rematch of the final of the German Open 2019, Momota seemed never at his best level against his teammate and was struggling with his own mistakes. Another Japanese matchup, another surprise. Yuta Watanabe and Arisa Higashino lost their match against Kaneko Matsutomo 21-15, 21-19. So also the campaign of the number 3 seeds comes to an early end. Current world champions Hoki and Kobayashi are through to the second round after a solid win against Tan and Tan from Malaysia. In the match of the day, local heroes Mark Lamsfuss and Marvin Seidel faced Labar Corvée from France. The Germans had a good start into the match and secured the opening set 21-18. In the second set, the French defense secured some problems for Lamsfuss Seidel, and they needed to work hard for their points, as you can see in this rally. But in the end, the German pair showed their mental strength and won the tight battle 23-21 in the deciding game. Our performance was good, but we made too many easy mistakes and I'm sure we can do better in the next round, said Mark Lamsfuss after the match. Good friends Yvonne Lee and Iris Wang enjoyed their first match ever on court together.
For me it was really fun because we rarely get to play doubles, and then also playing with such a good friend, it was just a blast.
But had to admit that their Korean opponents were too strong in the end.
Towards the end it was getting tough. They were making a lot of points from us. I think that may be a little frustrating in the end.
Also the campaign of the Popov brothers comes to an early end as they lose their first match against Chil and Van der Leck from the Netherlands. Meanwhile, Indonesian's men's singles star Jonathan Christie won his opening match after a tough fight against Li Shifeng from China in 3 long sets. Last match of the day showed an outstanding performance by rising star Brian Young. The Canadian beat world champion Lo Kian Yu in 3 sets and played himself into the hearts of the badminton fans here in Mülheim. If you've ever been on a big tournament, you've probably seen that there's a corner full of guys stringing rackets all day long. And today I had the pleasure to meet Tim Willis, the chief of the stringing team here at the Yonex German Open, and he showed me around and also answered all my questions about strings, equipment, and what the stars are using here at the German Open. Alright, so now I'm here at the Yonex stringing team together with Tim Willis, one of the maybe most famous stringers in the world. Tim, how was your day so far, and what are you going to do?
I'm going to do as little as possible. No. The day's good. We started quite early because there's quite a lot of rackets to do, obviously. Players haven't been playing much in the last week, so we expected a lot of rackets here, which is why we have a team of 8 guys. But we're coping well.
So you can really feel a difference when there is a longer break for the players, that they miss hit more often and you have a lot more work to do?
Yeah, also they arrive at the tournaments, they don't have their racket strung at home because obviously they're in a big training block. Very difficult for them to get their racket strung. And obviously the Asians, when they fly in, I think they feel sometimes that they lose a bit of tension on the flight. So yeah, they bring a lot of rackets.
So behind us there are many rackets already lying here. So how does it work? How can you get a racket strung here at the German Open?
Well, first you would, for Yonex players, it's free of charge, which is also probably the reason we get so many. So you would have to go to the login area. You write a ticket out with your name, country, your string tension. We put it in the computer, and then it's basically you don't say to a stringer, you are looking after this player. Every stringer should be able to string the same. So we just put them in the row in the order that they come. They get strung, then they get put out on the table here in the different types of rackets, and then the players that we trust come along and they collect the rackets.
So what is the most popular string at the moment?
It's still BG80, but both colours together now. So there's not so many players using BG80 yellow, where it used to be all of the Danish were using yellow 80, if you remember at one time. I think most of Europe was. Now is white 80 is very popular. But now coming, if you divide the 2 strings, the most popular individual is Aerobite.
Okay.
And it's really, really popular now. Everybody's using it.
And the average tension the players use, and also the maximum tension?
The average tension is around 30 pounds, 13 kilos. The highest tension here is, without pre-stretch, is Kento. Is 33 on the main strings, 35 on the crosses.
Okay.
The highest actual tension with 10% pre-stretch is Victor. He has 32 on the main strings, 34 on the cross, with 10% pre-stretch, which pulls it, obviously would pull it to 35, and then on the crosses would pull to 38. For fun, we tested some rackets, Dura Z Strike. We put Aerosonic at 22.
Okay.
Okay. The frame was very good, and then Boris went to court to test, and he said here, mid-court was perfect, but try and hit a clear. Just impossible. But the frame did take it.
Okay, so It survived.
Yeah, until it got on the aeroplane. And then I opened the bag and it was in 2 pieces.
All right, you already said that there will be a small challenge with one of your best stringers, who maybe shows me a little bit how fast you can actually string a racket and put the strings in. Yeah, bit afraid, but also looking forward to it.
He's quite fast. He's Tai Trin from France. He's worked with me at French Open for many years. He's done a couple of World Championships now, and also was Sudirman Cup. This guy averages around 35 a day.
Okay. And we also
have to stop him, you know. but you're actually very lucky that we have a racket here for Victor Axelsen.
Oh.
Okay.
So what does he want? What kind of tension? What
Victor
string?
would have BG80 white 80.
All right.
He prefers now because it goes well with the frame. So he's got 32 on the main strings, 34 on the cross, and 10% pre-stretch.
Okay, so he's also one using pre-stretch.
Yeah.
All right. So
I think we'll call tie-in, and then he'll put the mains, and you're going to have a cross challenge, right?
Let's do it.
Okay.
On our YouTube channel, you can find a much longer version with the full interview with Tim. And there he also talks about advice for beginners and intermediate players who want to string their own rackets. But he also tells some more funny stories and experiences he made throughout the years as a professional stringer. Tomorrow there will be the second part of my stringing experience, where I will try my best to string the racket for Viktor Axelsen. We've also mentioned the loss of Yuta Watanabe and Arisa Higashino, and the exit of the number 3 seeds opens up the draw a little bit more for an English combination. They are the 5th seeds, Marcus Ellis and Lauren Smith. They had an absolute thriller today in their opening matchup, and I had the pleasure to meet them up here at the VIP area and talk to them about their campaign here at the German Open, their opening match. And I was also able to ask Marcus what he thinks about co-starring in Lauren Smith's Instagram and TikTok videos. All right, I'm here with Lauren Smith and Marcus Ellis. Hello Marcus, hello Lauren.
Hey.
And you just went through a real thriller in your first opening match here at the German Open. 23-21 in the decider, I guess. How were you able to handle your nerves in the end?
I don't think it's the first time we've been in that position, which, you know, is something that experience that we can draw upon is something that's really important for us. When we get in those positions, we know that we've been there before and we know what we need to do to win the match. And, you know, experience does count for a lot.
Do you still feel a little bit shaky when you're serving in those situations, or is it maybe something for you that where you're like looking forward to when you can control the situation by doing the service, Lauren?
Yeah, I think actually in a lot of ways I prefer the service situation to the returning situation, because you know in those moments that people are going to make very tactical decisions. So often as a returner you think, well, maybe this will be the drive serve or this will be the flick serve. Whereas the server, like you say, you have the control. It's my choice. You know, I'm executing a tactic that I have chosen to do. So in many ways you are a lot more in control. And I think you just, like Marcus says, have to take on the experience and have some belief in your serve.
And is there something you're doing different in those close situations, or you really try to keep or stick to the plan? Is there something special when it's like really close or extra points in the decider?
For me, nothing changes. You know, from the first point in the match or the 25 all or whatever in the third, you know, every point should be played almost the same in my opinion, or in the same mindset. The people who mind starts wandering, thinking I need to do something completely different, or, you know, all these sorts of thoughts, they're very distracting. And ultimately it's probably going to lead to mistakes, or, you know, when in those really crucial moments.
I think distracting is a good word, because maybe you, or for sure you've seen that Watanabe and Higashino lost today, so they were the number 3 seeds and very close to you in the draw. Probably you will always try to not give that too much attention, but is it something you have in the back of your mind that the draw is maybe got a little bit easier for you now here?
I mean, I haven't given it too much thought. I didn't actually know they were in our section.
Okay,
no, it's not a problem. But, you know, I think one thing for me is that I always just take it game by game. You know, the depth of level of this tournament is very, very strong. You know, the next round we have a good Thai pair who we've lost to in the past as well. So, you know, it's great to see that the draw is opening up, but also I'd say that Watanabe lost to a good, dangerous pair in the other Japanese. So I think that'll be something to consider if we hopefully win our match tomorrow.
What would you consider your biggest weapon on court?
That's a tough question. I think we are quite dangerous in attack. We're both quite happy to be at the back of the court attacking. So for me, I don't feel like I always have to be at the back, which a lot of people think is a traditional mixed style. I feel very comfortable going forward to cause some pressure, and I know that Lauren will always be there to cover me. So for me, that's quite a dangerous part of our game that maybe other pairs don't always have that to rely on.
Lauren, what about you?
Yeah, I think definitely our attack, and I think speed from that. I think, you know, Marcus especially is very quick around the court, and often that gives me opportunities to sort of take chances. You know, I can gamble on a shot knowing that Marcus is fast enough to cover me, which means that we can again be more dangerous. So I think that speed is a big part of our game.
Last year on the Olympic channel, you were like checked through with all different kinds of physical tests, and I really love that video. I can just recommend you to have a look at it. These things, like these physical things that you also say that you're very fast on court, is it something you had to work for really hard, or maybe something that came quite natural to you?
No, it didn't come natural. I don't think, you know, I pride myself on my work ethic and how hard I work in training every single day. And I always try to be, you know, the hardest working person in the training environment. And I'd like to think I have that reputation also. So, you know, for me, it's not something that you say, oh, he's just naturally very fast or he's naturally very strong. I've really had to work, and I still do. You have to work even harder when you get older. Like, it gets harder and harder. So, no, for sure, it comes from a lot of hard work and graft.
So the mixed double is like on a really high level and also very even in the top. Like there are so many pairs sometimes beating each other. And is there something or pairs really sticking out to you, or really having something special that is maybe something no other pair has in the world at the moment?
Oh,
difficult one.
I mean, I think you have to look at the Chinese as the most consistent top pair, and both pairs in that respect. I think their sort of physicality and the defence that the girls and the men have makes them very hard to win points against. I also think in the first 3 shots in the rally, they are very dangerous. They win a lot of quick points. So I think that kind of makes them stand out a little bit, but I still think there are a lot of pairs on kind of, like you said, that can beat them and make it very level.
As well as the Thai combination, now also #1 in the world.
Yeah.
You maybe think Zheng Siwei will stick with this partner now? He played here, or do you know something about that?
No, we know as much as you do. We were also surprised, you know, #1 in the world, and you know, you're splitting from your partner for some tournaments. Also for us, it didn't make that much sense, but I'm sure there's a reason behind it, whether it's a permanent thing or to try and bring younger players along to improve. Who knows? But you know, just have to try and concentrate on ourselves and not get too drawn into what other people are doing.
Yeah. So tomorrow up against some Thailand players. Lauren, you just told me that you played them already last year and lost in 3 games.
Yeah.
Maybe you can map us out what the rest of this day and tomorrow morning will look like until the match from now on.
Yeah, so since coming off court, we've already kind of had a stretch and gone down sort of through our cool down routine. We've been to have some food to get refueled, and now both of us will get a bit of treatment from our physio, just to kind of stay on top of any areas that might get tight or have fatigued. We'll go for more food when we get back. Well, have a shower, get some more food, and then have hopefully a long night's sleep. Probably watch a bit of video this evening to prepare for the match tomorrow, and then depending what time we're on tomorrow morning, just kind of plan the day from there.
Yeah.
So there's no time schedule yet, I guess. You prefer playing in the morning or more in the evening?
In the middle.
Yeah, I mean, as long as it's not like at midnight, you know, it can be. As long as it's not around then, any time's okay. It's okay.
Okay, so of course there's one special thing about you, and you've probably got this asked a million times, but you're not only together on court, but also off court. And how is it, like, especially the last year, sometimes you were 3-4 weeks on tour, like playing badminton and also being together all the time. Is this a good thing for you? Also because other players, they had, I think, some trouble maybe because they couldn't see their partner for a really long time. Did you enjoy also being together all that time?
You know, well, you're right. We are used to answering this question. I think overall, it's a plus. You know, like you said, the tour now is so busy. You're away for weeks, even months at a time. So you know, trying to explain that to your partner who is back at home, sometimes with children. You know, it's really a horrible situation for a lot of players to be in. So in that case, I think we're actually very lucky that we can travel together. Yeah, we're together a lot. We share the room, you know, we're on court together. So yeah, now and again you might think, oh, it's just quite a lot. But I think as time goes by, we've got quite good at knowing when we just need like an hour of space to ourselves. But in general, I think we're very good at being together. We know when to have quiet time and whatever. So it does just work. I think you know it's not without problems now and again, but as a whole, I'm very happy with it.
Yeah, and I think we also get to travel the world together and experience kind of the highs together, which is, you know, really nice and quite special as well. And then even, you know, when you have bad losses or you're going through a bad time, it's nice that you can kind of have each other's back. And like Marcus says, you know, it's not without its moments of, I just need some space or, you know, whatever, but what relationship or maybe even partnership doesn't have that? So I think, like Marcus said, it's definitely a good thing, and, you know, we've had some really amazing times together.
Yeah. But I'm sure there are some specific things that really probably get the other one crazy. Are there anything that right away come to your mind?
My hair.
Yeah, but that, like, so it's like living with, like, you know, the dogs that like molt all the time, the hairs that just fall off. Like, honestly, I pick my clothes up in the morning and there's like hairs like everywhere. But I mean, it's the same at home. You know, and everyone has the exact same, you know, the tiny little things. I'm like, why is the hair on my t-shirt? You know? But nothing personally, you know, it's just like really small things like that. And really, you make a joke of it most of the time, unless you're having a really bad day.
And Lauren, you're also a lot on TikTok and Instagram, doing a lot of stories. And Marcus sometimes is the co-star. And I also got asked to ask you how you enjoy being on these videos and how you like fooling around there.
Yeah, I mean, I won't lie to you. Some of the videos I didn't want to do at the start, but then when I saw the finished product, I was like, actually, it's quite funny, or it's quite good viewing. So that's just Lauren having a good imagination, and you know, it just takes a bit of effort for me to do that sort of thing, you know, because it doesn't always come natural to me, whereas Lauren's quite the performer. You know?
But I really enjoy also that kind of combination where you can feel that she maybe had to talk you into those videos, but then you actually enjoy being in there. And
I mean, very recently we were sat in the bath with colanders on our heads doing the bobsleigh, and he was like, what are we doing? And I was like, it's the Olympics. It works out in the end. You just have to persuade you a little bit.
Okay, so I really enjoyed it. Thank you very much, and best of luck for your matches tomorrow, and hopefully also a long stay here in Mülheim and a very long tournament.
Thank you.
So much for day number 2 at the German Open 2022. Tomorrow we'll be back with a lot of more live action, summaries, interviews, and of course also the second part of my stringing experience. So definitely stay tuned and have a good night. Bye bye.